everyone's at the park. Let's go.
Mom, we're going out.
It's nearly 10 o'clock. I'll call the police if you're not back by midnight.
Okay, Mom.
Don't be late.
Have you ever felt like you just needed to be alone?
When it's all getting to be too much and you just need some space. Were you sad, angry, frustrated, or overwhelmed?
The last time we saw Jesus, he was having dinner with his disciples.
Not just any dinner, the Passover meal, his Last Supper. Somehow, he knew some scary and bad things were coming.
So Jesus was feeling all those emotions, sadness, stress, even anger. He needed to get away, be alone, and pray.
Even though it was late at night, he and his friends went out to a special place, the Garden of Gethsemane.
Two, one, action!
She hid in the wash machine. Yeah, at Mum's. Yeah. And I hid in the scary wardrobe. So then nobody would want to go in. Yeah, because guess what? There's spiders in there.
Abandoned steam train.
To hide behind the slide. Probably behind the container, but a lot of people check there, so.
Underneath my bed, because it's cozy, warm, and it's dark, so then they couldn't really see me. Outside, there's a corner like where the scooters are in.
I was hiding behind the unit, and there was something blocking the way so they couldn't see me, and they walked past me 5 times.
A garden at night is usually peaceful, but this is where everything kicked off.
Roman soldiers arrived to arrest Jesus, his friend and disciple, who had sold him out for 30 pieces of silver.
The soldiers led Jesus away, and the rest of his disciples scattered.
They were afraid. They didn't want to get dragged away as well, so they abandoned Jesus.
Even though it was the middle of the night, the soldiers took him away to stand trial, which sounds a bit suspicious, doesn't it? The leaders planned it all ahead, an arrest and trial in the dark of night, and that very night, Jesus was sentenced to death.
Whoa. Wait a second. Wasn't there a parade for Jesus less than a week ago? Didn't we just welcome him into our city as our new king? And now he's been sentenced to death. What happened?
Well, if people were cheering for Jesus, chanting for him to be king, who would not be happy about it?
Oh, whoever's already in charge. The Roman leaders, the Jewish leaders, King Herod. None of them wanted Jesus to be any kind of king.
And so, Jesus stands trial in front of a Jewish ruling council, Roman Governor Pilate and King Herod. And they decided to get rid of him.
But what about all the people of the city? Everyone who'd been cheering for him. What about them? Did they just change their minds?
And just like the new football manager who loses a game, it didn't take long for all of Jesus' fans to turn against him. In less than a week, the crowds that were chanting for him to be king were now chanting for him to be crucified.
To be crucified means to be executed, sentenced to death on a cross. It would have usually been done with 1 wooden pole or 2 wooden planks nailed together.
This was the way that ancient Romans used to execute major criminals, especially anyone who rebelled against the empire. So Jesus wasn't the only person to die this way. There were even 2 criminals on either side of Jesus that Friday when he was killed.
Crucifixion was public, you see. It would have been done in front of everyone to set an example, to warn everyone what will happen to the criminals and rebels. In Jerusalem, criminals were crucified just outside the city gates on a hill called Golgotha, where everyone could see.
Jesus' crucifixion was public too. A whole crowd was there watching, and a sign was put above his head that said, "The King of the Jews," warning everyone what would happen to anyone else who claimed to be a king.
Two other men were also led out with Jesus to be killed. Both of them had broken the law. The soldiers brought them to the place called the Skull. There they nailed Jesus to the cross. He hung between the 2 criminals. Jesus said, "Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing." The soldiers divided up his clothes by casting lots.
One of the criminals hanging there made fun of Jesus. He said, "Aren't you the Messiah? Save yourself. Save us." But the other criminal scolded him. "Don't you have any respect for God?" he said. "We are getting just what our actions call for, but this man hasn't done anything wrong." Then he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." Jesus replied, "What I'm about to tell you is true. Today you will be with me in paradise."
It was now about noon. Darkness covered the whole land until 3 o'clock. The sun had stopped shining. Jesus called out in a loud voice, "Father, into your hands I commit my life." After he said this, he took his last breath.
Why do they call it Good Friday anyway? It should be Bad Friday, Sad Friday, Terrible, Horrible Friday. It doesn't seem like a day worth celebrating.
And isn't it strange that Christians, followers of Jesus, are always wearing cross necklaces, decorate their homes with crosses, and have them in their churches and their Bibles?
Why is the cross so important to Christians? Why would it be the main symbol of Christianity when that's how Jesus died? Wasn't his death a mistake?
Maybe it wasn't a mistake. Remember at his Last Supper that Jesus even told his friends that all this was going to happen.
Maybe for Christians, this isn't the end of the story.
Maybe for Christians, something amazing and incredibly good happened on the cross.